What was it like when they finally turned around, even though you'd had millions to their listening ship, when the BBC finally turned around and said to you, do you know what? You want someone a bit younger, a bit more trendier.
Oh, it was a nightmare, and it was way worse than that. It was handled so badly.
Was it?
Looking back, it was a real dog shit. So the very short version is we were trying to get a meeting, or they were trying to get a meeting with us, one or the other. And I'd been offered the Jesus Christ Superstar musical. So I'm like, well, I'll do both. I'll just do the radio show, because the BBC have studios everywhere, right? So in every major city, and we're doing a tour in every major city, I'll be able to do both. Maybe I'll take a couple of weeks off for rehearsal, but I think it'd be great. What a great thing to talk about on the air from somebody who literally did not like musicals at that point. And then I was filming a TV show, and they said, we really need to see Chris, and can you come in as well? They said to my agent, my manager, and she goes, look, he's got honestly 8 minutes, because he's got to get in a car, go to the studio, film a couple of episodes of the show. And they're like, then it's literally 5 minutes, we just need 5 minutes, and then we'll have a meeting. We just need to have 5 minutes, and then we'll have another meeting. Okay, great. And the 5 minutes was to go, look, we're going to take you off the breakfast show. Which is like, okay, fine. And my agent went, what? And I thought they were going to say, look, so on the next meeting, let's talk about how we're going to wrap the show up. But they know they wanted to do it there and then. This was at 10:10, and they want to announce it in the news at 10:30. And unbeknownst to me, the whole radio show team had been told, can you hold on a second? We need to speak to you. So they put them in a holding room. They literally thought it was going to take 5 minutes. And I was like, well, if anyone's announcing that the show's finishing, it's going to be me. I don't know if you can hear, my shower's just decided to switch itself on. I'm not having
crying. It's crying in the background in sympathy. I'm there with it. It's a teardrop sound effect. So you're in that room. They go, we've got 5 minutes. We just want to tell you, even though you're the longest serving, ever breakfast presenter on Radio 1, you've added millions to our listening ship. Listening ship.
And we had,
yeah. But do you not go, why?
No, because I got why. And the two things which are true is that Radio 1 is a conveyor belt. And for most people, for 99% of the DJs who have ever worked at Radio 1, you will get on the conveyor belt, and then at some point you will fall off it for age, just not being relevant anymore, or just time, or bad decisions or whatever, and Annie Nightingale, John Peel, certain people are a different rule, because they're a phenomenon, and I really mean that. So it's going to run out. Time's going to run out. And what's interesting looking back, and I've heard Radio 1 DJs talk about this before, and it makes me smile now when I say it. The story goes now that I was too old for the show, and that's not entirely true. I was 39. No, was I 39? 38. I think I was, when they took us off. They recently hired, a couple of years ago, some DJs who were pretty much that age when they hired them, which did tickle me a little bit. So there was that reason, which is, there is, you don't do it forever. You are literally, it's yours for a while. It is like renting a house, and it's yours for a bit, and then it won't be yours. You don't live there. You're just, you're just making your mark. And the second thing was the BBC Trust, which was a thing that existed then, were really breathing down Radio 1's neck heavily, because the average age of the Radio 1 listener was 32, 33. And they thought, but it's a station for young people. 32, 33-year-olds are not young. And they got so obsessed with this that the boss in the time, who was Ben, had to make his mark and had to prove that, he was doing something about getting the average age down. And the biggest move he could have made was taking me off the breakfast show and putting somebody younger in. And he made the call. It didn't work, but he made.
But how do you feel about that now? How do you feel about it now?
I get it. I mean, it's a tricky one because Ben and I have not never really spoken about this since. I'd had a coffee with him maybe like 6 weeks, a couple of months before, and we were talking about, because it was a real thing. You know what the BBC like when they get the bit between their teeth, they go for it. And it was, we've got to get the youth audience, we've got to get the average age of the age of the average listener down. And I went, listen, it's irrelevant. The average age of the Radio 1 listener is irrelevant. We had more teenagers listen to Radio 1 than I think any other BBC product. I think at that time, you went in it then, so I can say this, Radio 1 got way more of a youth audience than EastEnders did. Way more. And on the Chris Moyles show in the morning, a huge amount of teenagers and early 20s listened. Our absolute demographic was through the roof. However, we also had a lot of 30 plus listening and 40 plus and a few 50 plus. And the reason for that is, one, people like what they like. And two, if you grow up listening to Radio 1, you grew up listening to Radio 1 because that was the cool station, and Radio 2 was the old fuddy-duddy station. And that's what people used to believe. And it's taken a long time for them to change that. But even now, still, Radio 2 is for the older people. Radio 1's for the cool young people. And there are people who don't want to listen to Radio 2. They don't want to leave Radio 1. They love Radio 1. They want to keep listening. How old are you? 52. I bloody love it. And the BBC Trust didn't get this, or maybe it was never fully explained to them. But my argument was, it's irrelevant. It makes no odds. And you should say, guys, you're barking up the wrong tree. Don't worry about the average age of the Radio 1 listener. As long as if this was Coca-Cola, and they said, we're putting out a brand new drink, and in the first week, 50 million people bought it. And then in the second week, 40 million. And then the third week, 30, fourth week, 30, fifth week, 30. You go, okay, people tried it and 30 million still like it and the rest don't. And in that 30 million, let's say it was aimed at women. It was a new Coca-Cola for women. And they suddenly realized 42% of people who are buying it are men. They wouldn't give two shits, because they go, well, the women are buying it. The people we want to buy it are buying it. They're enjoying it. Great. Turns out as well, these guys also like it. But at the time, the thing I went through was, kind of 33-year-olds listening to Radio 1 in the morning. This is end of days. So I was gone. I was taken off. And then I was going to stay. They were going to move me to another part of the schedule, like they've done with other Radio 1 breakfast show DJs in the past. But I always said to myself that would be my last show on Radio 1 with a breakfast show. So I had to go. And it was all very, very, very amicable. But I sat with Ben after a few months and said, I'm not coming back, don't you? And he goes, yeah, I know. So it was fine. But yeah, strange times. I do look back at it and do smile. And I know I've gone on a bit about this, but it is a big chunk of my life. And also the fact that they lost about 3 million listeners after I left. So,